In this video, we'll discuss the phases of learning to read words. This video was created by faculty in the Literacy Education Program at Appalachian State University. If you have additional questions, please reach out to Jenny McCurry at the email address on your screen. Linnea Airy proposed the phases of learning to read words, which outlines the stages through which children typically progress as they learn to read and develop their understanding of their written language. These phases describe the cognitive processes and strategies that children use to decode words and become fluent readers. The first phase is the pre-alphabetic stage. This doesn't necessarily know that children have no knowledge of alphabet letters. It's just that they are not applying letter sound correspondences or their knowledge of those to the reading of words. In this initial phase, children rely mainly on visual cues and memorization to read words. So, quick story, when my children were babies, anytime we would travel, they could recognize a Chick-fil-A, not based on knowing where it was in our hometown, but based on the logo. That was when they were in the pre-alphabetic stage. Then we move into partial alphabetic. In this phase, children begin to understand that letters do in fact represent sounds. So you see in the visual that a child who is trying to write the word puppy represents that word with a P. They start to associate some letters with their corresponding sounds, especially recognizing initial and final consonants in words. This also allows them to begin to commit printed words to memory. Then we move to the full alphabetic phase. In this phase, students have full knowledge of phoneme grapheme correspondences, and they use that knowledge to decode words. In the visual, you'll see that they've been given the word cat, C-A-T, and they are able to use their knowledge of phoneme grapheme correspondences to sound out that word. The last phase is the consolidated alphabetic phase. And this is where reading becomes more efficient, more fluent, and students can begin to focus more on rules or chunks of words, patterns that they find within words, and decode them systematically rather than sounding out each letter. The next step is automatic word reading. This is what leads to fluent automatic word reading, which allows your students to focus more on comprehending what they're reading rather than sounding out each letter. And so we know that teaching children to decode is the best way to achieve automaticity, fluency, and the things that aid in proficient reading with comprehension.